Okay, so I want to now talk about some page formatting features that we have. Some of this we've already talked about in other videos, but I want to kind of just summarize it all here, along with bringing in some other features as well. We're going to start with page size. Now, the paper size that we're using right now is 8.5 by 11, so 8.5 inches by 11 inches. That's the standard US whatever size page. We have legal as well, which is 8.5 by 14, and we've got tabloid, which is 17 by 11. So really, a tabloid size is taking two portrait-orientated pages and putting them together. That's why you got things like the National Enquirer, why they call that a tabloid, because it's on tabloid-sized paper. Ah, fun fact, huh? So anyway, so how do we go about making that happen? Well, if you go over into the Layout tab, and you can be anywhere in the document. You don't have to have your cursor at the beginning or anything. You don't have to select the whole document. You just need to be somewhere in it, all right? And then once you've done that, you go to Layout, you go over here to Size, all right? And as you can see here, we've got the 8.5 by 11 that we're currently on. That's the one's highlighted there. And we have the legal size as well, which is 8.5 by 14. Now, let me do this first. Let me zoom out just a little bit more so you can actually see the whole document here. So we'll just do something like that. All right, so we go ahead and we go back into size, and I'll go down here to the legal. We'll click onto that, and there's your legal. Now, what's really nice about today's technology is that you don't have to do anything special with your printer to print out, landscape, or I'm sorry, legal type pages. You just have to make sure that you've got the legal size paper in your printer, and it'll take care of itself. So that's not a problem. All the codings and everything else will get sent to the printer, and it will know how to handle something like this. So that's your legal size. Now, if you go back in there again, we can take a look at some of the other ones here. The Canadian ones, and I'm pretty sure this is Canadian, you've got your A3 and your A4, all right? So on your A3, it's 11.69, so that's almost like, well, let's just take a look at it. Click onto that. There it is on that. So different kind of size paper there. And of course, we've got the A4, which is almost very close to the our 8.5 by 11. So our 8.5 by 11 is now their 8.25 about by 11.5 almost, right? So you do that, and we have that. So if you look at that one versus the letter size, not much of a difference there. Now, if you have a printer that does tabloid size pages, which is pretty cool, you can go over here to tabloid, and there's your tabloid size. So technically, you can think of this as being halfway down the page. That would be your 11 by 8.5. See, so pretty cool stuff there. I'm gonna take this and put it right back to letter size, but that just gives you an idea of how that works. Okay, so let's look at now margins. Okay, very easy to change. All we really have to do is go in there and go to layout, be anywhere in the document, go to margins, and tell it what you want to go with. If this isn't good enough, you can go down to custom margins, and you can come up with your own measurement in there. But what I'll do here is I'll just go ahead and just change it to the narrow. Do that, and you can see that. So by changing your margins, obviously you fit more text on the page, and therefore you can maybe reduce your pages sometimes. That's a pretty good thing. Now, incidentally, I wanted to show you one little minor thing here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so we can see this a little bit better. I want you to notice how, because we're using the full justification, or just justification in general, how we're able to get the edges here to be blocked just like the beginning part is, so it's a nice squared off look. And the way the program's able to do that is it adds extra micro spacing between the words to kind of push them over to give them this kind of an effect. The problem with it is that it sometimes adds more spacing between the words than what you really would like it to be. So I'm going to talk about this feature when we're talking about page formatting, because overall we're trying to look at the best ways of making our page look good, and as part of it, and this is one of those. So what I want to show you is how we can turn on what we call automatic hyphenation, where then what it will do is it'll actually hyphenate your words. So built into the dictionary, in Microsoft Word's dictionary, is where the words can be hyphenated. Like if you like the word working, okay, so you can hyphenate between the K and the I, between work and ing, right? So it's stuff like that. So the program has that database. So what we do is we can turn on this automatic hyphenation for the entire document, and hopefully we'll be able to squeeze more words per line by hyphenating, the last word that ends up being on there. Because usually what will happen is if this was a longer word right here, it would end up getting word wrapped onto the next line there, But with the hyphenation, in essence, it might end up getting just hyphenated at one point, and thus you won't have as much space between all the words on that particular line. Okay, so hopefully I explained that right. So I want you to just take a look at just the overall look of this, okay? Just how things are kind of laid out here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the Layout tab. I'm going to go over here to Hyphenation, all right? And right now, hyphenation is turned off. It's set at none. So if I go in there, point to automatic here. Now watch. Now when I go to click it, watch what happens on the page now. Click automatic, and look what happened there. Say now, I'm going to go ahead and hit undo. That's what it was, right? And now here's redo, and there we go. So what's happened, let me just zoom in a little bit closer, just as a minor thing here. It says you can also type a keyword. Now let me just go back here again. I'm going to go ahead and hit undo. So you can type and now it had to stretch out more because it couldn't fit the whole keyword on that line, right? So by having the hyphenation on, so let me just go back in there. I'm going to turn the hyphenation back on again now. So there's key and there's word, see? And it's probably not going to be enough to start saving pages. Maybe if you have a lot of pages, it'll make a big difference. But overall, if anything, it's just going to make things not as spacey looking between the words, right? And that's about it with that. You can see some of the other ones here. We got the buttons, so it's a BUT hyphen. Here's the appears, AP hyphen. Appears on the next line there. So just little stuff there, that's all. All right. Okay, so now another feature I can kind of squeeze in when we're kind of talking about pages in general, formatting and all that, is the use of the title page, or cover page, they usually call them. And the whole idea of the cover page is it kind of adds a professional feel to the document. It makes it much better as far as maybe presenting. It depends. But let me just show you how you can do this. Now, I showed this to you in another video in the past, but since we're kind of on the subject of pages, I want to at least kind of throw it in now for you. So what you'd end up doing, first of all, it could be anywhere in the document, really, or we happen to be on page 1. And I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit. There we go, okay. So I'm going to go back into Insert, all right? And we're going to go over here to Pages, and then we have Cover Page. And in there we've got a number of different ways that we can utilize the cover page. You got a lot of different designs here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead maybe with this one here. All right, so I'll click on the retrospect. There it is, right? So there's our cover page, and we're still in section 1 and all that. And there we go with the rest of it. So there it is. Pretty easy to do. If you wanted to change it, you just go back in there again, and pick something else, and it pulls that one off, and this one goes in. And then, of course, you put your information in there. Maybe the document title will be like we have for the title at the top there, video in the regions, right? Something like that. You can make it bold, whatever, but that's a major thing, or that's a major thing there, putting the title in there. And because if you have it there, you don't really need to have it up here. So what we can do is we can just go up to the title here and select it and delete that and get rid of it, and now we'll have that. So we're kind of using this now as our title, I guess, for the document. Okay, so now the next area I want to get into is working with the headers and footers. And the header and footer areas are at the top and bottom of the pages throughout your document, and they contain, consistent information like some sort of like titling that you want to carry through. It could be page numbers, things like that. And it's an easy thing to do, but it is a little tedious, and you can kind of run into little brick walls and stuff like that. So I'm going to just show you a little bit about how to set this all up, and hopefully you'll get a good idea for it and be able to do it on your own. So in any event, though, what you'll do is you'll go into the Insert tab, all right? And we're going to start out with the header. So I'm going to click on the header, and it gives you a number of different, almost like templates that you can use. And they are pretty wide-ranging here, and you just have to kind of figure out which one you'd like to use. Now, I'm going to kind of maybe go down towards the middle here and maybe use this one here, only because it kind of has something to do with the coloring there, so it kind of follows through with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click onto that, all right, and there we go. Now, what happens is it puts that up in the header area, and then you're in there as well. And then if you look at the top here, this design tab here has all to do with your header and footer area. Now I'm going to go ahead and let me just pop out of there real quick, and let me zoom out just a little bit here so we can see this a little bit better here. Get about 3 pages there. Okay, so and then to get back in, just you just double click it, and that'll get you back in. So in essence, what you see now is this is at the top of every one of our pages, just like that. Now, if I zoom in a little bit, so I'm going to kind of get in there a little bit, you'll notice that it's using for at least the title on the left-hand side, the same title that I have on the cover page, which is fine, all right? But on the right-hand side, it has a spot where I can actually put the date in. I can actually click onto there, hit the little drop-down arrow, and I've got, I can just pick a date out of there. I don't really need to have the date on the top. I really don't want that there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click onto the little face there. This is what we call a field, but I'm going to click on the face of it, the label there. And then on the keyboard, I'm just going to hit the delete key, and that'll wipe that out. And then I'm free to put in whatever I want to put in there. So maybe, the main title is, video in the regions, all right? But I can maybe put on the other side here, maybe keeping up with tech or something like that, right? Now I do that. If I scroll down and look at the other pages, it's got the same text in there as well. So that's a pretty good one there. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to flip down to the footer, and I can just kind of scroll down there, or I can use this and say go to footer, and that'll take me down to the bottom. But it really doesn't matter which way it is, how way you do it. It actually takes me way to the bottom. I just want to go to the first page here. All right. So there it is. Oh, and by the way, let me just point one other thing out here. Let me zoom back out here. You'll notice on here that in the design tab of our header and footer, it has on here checked off different first page. And that's because on the first page, I really don't want anything. So it gives me an area to put text in and whatever kind of codes I want to put in there that have to do with the first page, and they won't bleed over here, and vice versa. So I'm going to end up just leaving that blank, because that's all I want to have on my cover page is just what we had there originally. but here's what we have here. So now for the footer, what we can do is we can go back in, and this is in the design tab still. And while we're there, you can see the footer. Now you don't have to be down there; it'll just go down automatically when we do this. But we click on the footer, and we have to figure out what we want to put in there. Now I can kind of scroll the little mini templates here to see if there's anything that maybe looks kind of interesting. Kind of go down here a little bit, and there should be one in here. Yeah, this one here, it's the blue one. It's called Retrospect, and this actually has a spot for the author, which we'll change that, but it also has the page number on the other side here, so that's what I like about that. So I'm going to go ahead and click onto that, all right? And then what I'll do is I'm going to zoom in here a little bit more so you can see this. So there it is, see? So there's the code for the page, or there's the page number code in there. What I can do is I can kind of enhance that a little bit by just clicking on the left side of it, and just maybe make sure I'm on the left side there, and then I can type in something like PAGE space, right? And now you'll see it say over there, page 2 there, page 3, and so forth. So that's pretty cool. And there's page 1 on that one. So it really doesn't matter which one we're on here. Now we've got that, and then on the other side here, this is giving us the author information. I really don't need to have the author information. I'd rather put something else in there. So I'm going to go ahead and click onto that, a little heading there, hit the delete key, and that wipes that out. Now I can go back up to this is in the design tab still, go over here to the document info area here, click onto that, and actually go in and put in maybe the file name, all right? So I can click onto that, and that way, and you've probably had that situation where you've got this document's been printed out and you're going, okay, we need to make changes to this, and you have no idea of what it is, so that would be something you could put down there. You could do that, or we can backspace that out, get rid of that code, and instead I can go back in there and I can say, okay, how about if I were to put maybe the date and time, which is not in that one, sorry about that, the date and time. So I can actually click onto here and put this one in here, let's say, right? And that would be the date. Or I can just do just a simple one like that. So if I did that there, hit OK, there's the date, and then maybe put maybe a couple spaces after it, go back in there again, and tell it that I want to put in the time. And I can, maybe do this one here, and then hit OK, and now there's the time. So then another thing I can do is I can actually maybe go to the next line underneath here and maybe put some document information, maybe the name of the document. That'd be kind of cool too, see? So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and hit the enter key, all right? And that kind of pushes things up, but I'll show you how to fix that in a second. So I do that, and then I'll go back over here to document info, and I go to the file name, and it puts the file name right in there for me. It also gave me a little error here because I guess I put too much space between the two. It's a grammar error, so I'll just go back in there and backspace it once and be done with it. Maybe what I'll do is I'll hit a space, hyphen, space, do that. That looks good. All right, so there we go. Now, you'll notice another thing when we're in the Design tab. It tells you how far the footer is from the edge of the page. And right now it's like a ½ an inch. So what I can do is I can reduce that, all right, and kind of bring it down a little bit like this and fit it like that, see? So it's more pushed down here. Now it's not going to affect what I have up here, but at the same time on this one up here, what I can do is I can reduce this one as well. So let me just kind of go back up here. You can see as I bring that down, I'll just bring it to 1 inch or 1/10 of an inch there. Now go back, that's pretty close. Maybe I'll bring it up a little bit. It's about like maybe a 3. So there we go. That might not be too bad. Or maybe, I'll put it at 4. There we go. All right. So that's good there, and we got that. So now, once we've done that, now I'm going to go ahead and close this up. All right. And now there it is. So there's our header. There's our footer at the bottom there. Doesn't look too bad. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. We've got more to come. I appreciate you sitting there for the past 25 minutes watching this. but hopefully it did come in handy. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care.